July 8, 2014. After a plane crash, two 16-year-old girls identified as Charlotte went to heaven the day of the accident. A 16-year-old girl identified as Andrews Haley Fairchild was in serious condition on July 8, 2014 at 1:10 p.m. after undergoing surgery for both of her broken arms and moderate burns to her elbow. She was in a lot of pain and a broken elbow burned her whole body and broke her feet. She was in so much pain because her elbow was broken and had blisters on her elbow. The only one in serious condition is a 16-year-old girl identified as Andrews Haley Fairchild. Her mother, daughters Hartley and Claire T. and the whole California family, California Girls and Girls. Bring her to the people. As day turns to night. Andrews Haley Fairchild. The 16-year-old girl is in serious condition and clings to life and fights for her life. On the day of the plane crash on the night of July 8, 2014, she was in tears. Her mother Hartley holds her hands and hugs her and kisses her and stays by her side and holds her hands very tight. She was holding hands while she was sleeping. The girl condition worsens. July 16 and July 17, 2014 at 11:16 p.m. a 16-year-old girl Andrews Haley Fairchild has gone to heaven. She was in tears at the last hour of her life. The Hartley and Claire T. girls and the girls of her California family and the California girls kissed her for the last time. The girl body was taken to a cemetery in Los Angeles and the body was put in the cemetery. One day later, her mother Hartley and daughters Claire T. and daughters of California family and daughters of California went to celebrate the life of a 16-year-old girl identified as Andrews Haley Fairchild. While Andrews Haley Fairchild was in surgery, Hartley and Claire T. girls and the California girls held hands and said a little prayer for her. After completing the operation, she was put in serious condition but awake and talking. She went to her room and she was waking up from surgery. The girl eyes were bruised. The girl body was full of casts. Her elbow was sunk and she was so badly injured. Her friends began to pray for her. She was in tears and her mother Hartley went to her when she called her mother. She came to her and holds her hands very tight and she slept by her side and she hugged her so tightly because her last time she stayed by her side. The girl that went to heaven was a 16-year-old girl identified as Andrews Haley Fairchild who went to heaven 8 days later after a plane crash changed her life. Her mother was in tears in her daughter's grave. The plane Airbus 330,223 with registration HL7714 was 16. The Haley Fairchild family was scheduled to be home in a few minutes during the landing of their flight TG214. But all that changed. After the crash, Andrews Haley Fairchild had bruises because she had hit her face on the chair in front of her and she was lying on the floor. Hartley rescues her and she was shattered to see her nose badly bruised and her eyes and saw her elbow that was the worst. She had moderate burns on her elbow and her elbow was broken. Her right arm was the toll on her. Her right arm was so broken that was in pain and she was examined and then she was taken to Los Angeles General. She was so critically hurt that they had to take her to surgery after she arrived. While she was in surgery, her mother Hartley and Claire T. girls and California family girls and girls had a short prayer for her and hold each other's hands and prayed for her with their eyes closed. After surgery, she went to her room and saw she was just lying and waking up from surgery. She was in tears after she wakes up from surgery. Her body was full of casts from her right arm to her elbow that had a very toll on her. Her condition worsens. On the 16th of July 2014 she lost a daughter and she was buried in a cemetery in Los Angeles in her grave. On that grave had flowers and a pink long-sleeve shirt and her pink and blue ink that she wore on that fateful day.